I would like to call to order the July 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Westerly Public Schools School Building Subcommittee meeting. The time is 6:01. Members present are Steve Marone, Cindy Kirchhoff, Giuseppe Giacarelli, Kristen Federico, Mike Ober, Chris Lund, Dr. Mark Garceau, Mark McKinnon, Audrey Fobert, and myself, Justin Hopkins. We also have in attendance with us this evening is Ashley Prester from DBVW, and we expect Deb Weeding from Downs to be here shortly. Let me just check. She must be right on her way. First order of business is approval of meeting minutes from our July 9th meeting. You should have all received these in the outgoing calendar invitation. If there are no modifications to these minutes, we'll entertain a motion to approve. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Did you say abstention? Okay, the next item is public comment. We do not have any members of the public here this evening. I do not believe we have any approval of invoices for this meeting. So we will move on to owner's project manager / architect update.
Absolutely. And we do not have TSKP or NCA with us tonight, but we've been on site this week. Everything is proceeding, I would say almost ahead of schedule. Anybody has a chance, stop by, take a look at the building. It looks fantastic. And we are anticipating that at the next SBC meeting, we're going to be having a finish schedule and some renderings for everybody to take a look at for the colors so that we can give them our blessing. So I will hand the floor over to Ashley.
It's the Ashley Prester show today, so I'd be as brief as humanly possible here. All right. So I have a bunch of TCDs. We're having some difficulty with some subcontractors and other contractors and a general contractor just to get this work done. We need to get it done because we're basically 3 weeks from substantial completion at this point. So this one, CCD 6, is related to the behavioral support classroom. We did not originally put a sink in that room, thinking that if it's a behavioral issue, if a kid is not well behaved, they can hurt themselves, they could clog the sink or turn the faucets off or whatever. But it's a requirement because it is a teaching space. So the school had asked to put one in. We had put together the proposal request. And I had disputed the cost from the plumber. It had come in at $10,911.25 total for a single sink. The plumbing is right underneath the kitchen, right below in the kitchen. I don't understand how it's that much money. And the plumber is basically too busy trying to finish the project to do the pricing, to do the paperwork. So we just need to get this in. We'll deal with the paperwork in September. So I basically said, I'm asking the committee to approve this one not to exceed 11,000, just to get it in, and then we'll be able to negotiate and pull the number back once we have real backup from them when they're done. So
the requirement for a sink and a teaching space, is that just at the elementary level?
I think it's just for I don't know what they're doing in there, but it's mainly for cleaning hands and things like that. And it's not a code requirement per se, but this is something that was specifically requested. I think it came through Mark, so I don't know where it came from before that.
And the teachers in that space.
Okay.
Every classroom in that school has a sink in. That room originally had a sink for it too.
It did until it had a sink in the bottom left corner, but we've added the quiet rooms and the de-escalation rooms in there. And the sink, the classroom they're moving from is now going to be a kindergarten across the hall. So, they're looking to basically, because they're teaching in there full-time, so it's not a, shared space.
Does the cost go down if you, locate the sink on the right-hand side of the building, the room next to all the plumbing that has just been put in?
The kitchen plumbing is specifically in that area right there. That's the reason we located it there. We figured the vent pipe was cheaper than the waste pipe for running this with pitch. So, and we try to, protect it with the wardrobe a little bit. Just the contractor hasn't, I don't even know if they've even ordered the hanger for the sink yet. So it's like now or never.
Why don't we go through all of these, and we'll address them globally with formal action.
Okay. All right. So the next one is, this one came up Monday, I believe, and it's a wider issue. What you're seeing here is the backside of the piping from the teacher's workroom at Springbrook. This is a unit ventilator. There was a paired unit ventilator in the media center, which was going away because we created a full ventilation system in the new media center. The way it was originally piped, it was piped into one unit and through to the other unit, and it just doesn't make any sense. They can't just, I thought it would come down and run out to each unit and we could just cap one and leave the other. They can't do that. This is a more global item. There might be, we already had one where we had to move HVAC piping in the art and music classrooms to get over the beam for the operable partition. So there might be another couple of these that come up. So I had asked the contractor to provide me any estimate on time on this. They basically want to run new piping down from above the ceiling, put some isolation valves in that didn't exist. Not to exceed $5,000 for this one. Again, they're trying to button up the space, but their subs are not moving without direction. So it's a frustrating situation.
Actually, I saw it in that teacher's lounge. There was a split unit in the ceiling. Did that do heating as well?
I would assume it would.
Don't need the unit here.
Do we want to go that far? And I didn't know if we wanted to modify anything more than we had to. I think we just provided the air in there because it was part of the media center space. Like it spilled into it. It's always open. Otherwise, you'd have a hot room and a cold room or a conditioned room next to each other. And they probably charge us for the demo too. But you're right. I mean, we could look at that if the committee deems it so. I would assume that probably the flooring doesn't exist below the unit. So there's other things like that we'd have to add back in. This next one's a big one. We had a meeting on this today with the subcontractor. Not even the general was there, but we were basically talking directly to the sub. As you're aware, the BDA system, bidirectional antenna, is required for any buildings where the emergency personnel can't get reception through the building. So, and if they're at the facility, this repeats their signal throughout the building and also repeats it out to their towers. We had allowances in the spec of 75,000 for Duns and 60,000 for Springbrook. That calculates out to anywhere from $1 to $1.50 a square foot. That's what we're used to seeing in the industry. You can see we've approved some change orders for the design for the 2-hour rated fire, the closet for the equipment already. The installation at Springbrook, which we found out didn't have any material in it. So we had a remaining balance of the allowances of 68,000, and then this week the contractors hit us with all of this information. The equipment at Springbrook and the equipment at Dunn's, totaling over almost $110,000, has no backup. So we need to find out what's going on. They're just giving us a lump sum. They've been on this job for 1.5 years. And we can't wait. The equipment's already on site in good faith. They have ordered it and it is on site to be put in time. The installation at Dunn's is another number that I don't agree with. It is, it represents 490 labor hours at Dunn's as opposed to 120 at Springbrook. Yes, there are a few more items at Dunn's, a few antennas and things, but there's no way it's 5 times the cost of labor. So we've directed, if this is approved, we're gonna direct them to do it all T&M. Tower is on board with this and Downs will support us as well. We're gonna, basically, they've said if it's 490 hours, you need 4 people for the next 3 weeks dedicated to put this in at Dunn's. So provide the proof. Put the guys on site, do the work, and let's make sure they're getting it done. I don't believe the labor numbers are correct. So I've questioned that. I've questioned some of the material, but we need to get this installed again. This is another thing. You would not be looking at anything more than the 160,000 in excess of the allowance, but we're hoping to get that down quite a bit once we have the proof of it. But without backup, they're not working very well. I know Mark and Deb were both in that meeting earlier today. The goal is to get the building open right now.
But do they know that? And are they using that?
Of course they are.
Mhm.
Of course they are. Yeah. And this one electrician has been very difficult.
But because it's in excess of the contract work, we're worried that they're just gonna say, we're not gonna do the work and not put it in, and it's a requirement from the fire marshals that this is in. So we're between a rock and a hard place right now, this will have to be handled with negotiations post occupancy.
And who makes sure if they get those 4 people there and that they're actually working for 490 hours? I mean, like literally,
Deb
they're,
Deb, Jeff, and the site superintendent.
they're like there every day to make sure they're actually doing.
Oh, we're stopping by every day. We don't have
Right,
hours.
right,
to
I
do
know.
every day, not equipment that works. But we try to stop it.
And they don't know when you're coming?
Usually they don't, yeah. You know,
I think the site super.
the site super has been,
Power is a little, is quite,
we'll get into
disgusting
that in a
with it,
minute.
yeah, with them too. But they can't control them. They contractors completely out of control. So I think they won't have any problem, trying to be honest with us. but
Yeah.
we'll see.
All the stuff at Dunn's is escalated. When we did the design for both buildings, Springbrook was 2,500 from one vendor and Dunn's Corner was 8,900 from another vendor. And we said, why don't you use that vendor at the cheaper one or the more cost-effective one? The sub said no. We said, look at the price. They said no. They sent it back to us. This is our price. Take it or leave it. So we already have had arguments about this scope for quite a while.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's waited this long is also extremely frustrating because we talked about this in our first leadership meeting in March about getting this resolved. So
And what kind of like warranty type thing do we have after on the work?
the typical 1 year from the contractor, I'd have to see if there's anything beyond that in the specific BDA spec. I'm not sure.
Well, from what we've seen so far, they do good work. That's not questionable. And finally, they have stepped up and they're manning the project very well.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, no, the guys in the field have been phenomenal. I don't want to dismiss their effort and their quality. It's literally the supplier for them and the actual management that we've really been butting heads with this whole project. It's clear that the GC only has partial control and has to be really careful so they don't.
our last management meeting, Al said he has no control over A and J.
Yeah.
That's the electrician.
The last one is a simple one. This is mostly we've seen it at Dunn's, but we have seen it at Springwork a little bit, is additional paint prep. In our specs, the painter owns lightly sanding and scraping and used paint around. What we're finding is that the paint a while ago is not a very good paint. It's not bonding. And what happens is when we put our new paint on, it's drying and actually pulling the bond off. You saw it in your office. It's just peeling. So there needs to be a little bit of additional prep in a few areas. Our spec specifically says if they go on and as soon as they start painting, they own everything. So that's why they had to repaint the gym a second time. That's why the whole lobby in the upper left is being repainted on their dime. But they're now, identifying areas that have, peeled or would peel and are saying we need to do additional prep. The door frame here, I don't know if you can see it, but we had it painted that light gray. And the paint that had peeled off from the abatement, which is the contractor had the abatement duct taped the plastic up. But when they peeled it off, and nothing is gonna really prevent that, but I'm just using it as an example. It peeled about 4 or 5 layers down. You could see the colors over the years. And that's what we're seeing is that there's sins from the past that are coming out,
And they already sanded it before?
supposedly. That was part of the reason we had a problem at the gym. But there's a few doors, there was the principal's suite, the office and the secretary's office were both needed some additional prep work. This is pretty much to cover their additional prep work. We do have a potential credit coming back from Joe Mark. They had priced some stuff up in the bid that we didn't proceed with, so we might be able to balance this once this gets carried through to a change order. But we need them to move on this right now because Jomar, the painter, is actually behind right now, according to Tower. So that's the 4 CCDs that I'm looking for direction on from the team right
So
now.
what's that total now with these CCDs?
10, so 170, 175, 186. So that would go against the overall balance of the project. That's the maximum. The CCDs are fluffed a little bit to account for things, and then we expect them to come down. We also still have the lobby out there that hasn't been, because again, the plumber hasn't provided the lobby bathroom backup. They're at 97 right now. That will come down a little bit. The electric panels, we still haven't gotten a final on that. That was, I don't even remember what that was, maybe 35 or 40. DCDs aren't an ideal way to do it, but when you have subs that aren't wanting to do work without direction, this is the only way to get them to work.
So what's the status of our contingency?
Our contingency, is where it was. It's at, one, I'm thinking off the top of my head. Apologies, guys, I ran here right from U4. It's right around 2 million, excuse me. I don't have the exact number, but I know I think it's just below, like it's 19,
I thought it was like 1918.
19,
Last I heard.
190, something like that, right? Just under 2 million.
What's remaining out there on these contracts? What haven't we seen yet that the contractor thinks that they're entitled to?
There's a few electrical change orders. We talked about those today that they're proceeding with. Regardless of the cost, there were some mag holds that the fire marshal asked for. There were some mag holds that we had on drawings that weren't picked up on electrical. That's a minor one. It's only a couple grand. Trying to think, there's a few others floating around right now. We have a few credits out there right now, so we're trying to pull money back where we can. I don't have anything in my scope right now.
Few doors at Springbrook that A&J is gonna have to work on. Those are the 3 exterior doors.
Yes, I sent that one in. We need a little bit of connect there. There was existing mag locks at Springbrook, and when we added the hardware scope, we added latch retraction. We don't have the connection from the top of the frame to the door hardware itself, so they need to provide a whip and then run through the door to get to that stuff. So there's a little bit of work there. Shouldn't be too bad. It's low voltage wire.
So with a month to open school, is what Kristen alluded to, something we see frequently with these kind of jobs?
I would prefer not to see it with the subcontractors being so obstinate, to be honest. But it's definitely what they've been tracking this entire project, which we'll get into in a minute. You know, we've had many discussions, including our meeting a couple of weeks ago, where we said, at this point, get the job done. The paperwork will catch up. And then they hit me with this, where they need the paperwork in order to get the guys to do the work. It's frustrating.
But they're not giving you the backup.
Correct. But the authority we have right now is we have to eventually convert the CCD to a change proposal and then a change order. Until they have the paperwork, they're not getting paid.
But the whole distinction of the CCD is that it allows you to bill against it before a change order can be executed. That's the language of a construction change directive.
I thought it was that
You're contractually allowed to bill against the CCD in a
Okay.
payment application.
Yeah.
So. Is that part of the new vestibule? I don't know. Okay, I don't really see any, I think we need to put in place the mechanisms to complete the project at this point. So we can't have this amount at every meeting from now until the end of the
next meeting will be the rec for July, and then the meeting after that, substantial completion. So. As I said, this, especially the BDA came out this week. I'll get into a little more detail on that in a second.
I mean,
We're over a barrel here.
yeah, I just installed a BDA in a brand new 90,000 square foot facility for $80,000.
I know. We have a filed sub bid for one in Avon that is running around $2 a square foot. This is $3. So it's double what we anticipated, and I don't understand the backup. I think the suppliers have issues, and I think the have issues and are inflating it, and I think the contractor might be doing the same.
All right, well, on T&M, we expect a review of slips. I don't know of any subcontractor that would put for this trade that would put that amount of people on site for 4 weeks straight, but. Okay.
That's where I'm going with it. I think it's 2 guys the 3 weeks, or 4 guys for a week or 2 at the most. We talked about it today. It's a straight run to the roof. It's not complicated. It's above ACT ceilings. It's not complicated to run it. So.
Okay, any other questions for any of these? Okay, we'll take them all as one motion. CCD 6, 7, 8, and 9 for an aggregate total of $186,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. So the last thing I have on my agenda is a letter that I hope was in your packet, specifically regarding our services, DBBW and our consultants. We had come to you in January with a change of 30 weeks for the construction time. And at that time, we had indicated, we've had conversations behind the scenes, that we were experiencing a very large influx of additional work due to the contractors beyond our control. I have backup. If you would like to see it, I'd rather not air that out on camera if we can avoid it, but basically we have received numerous resubmittals. Basically 1 in 7 has been more than what is expected on this project and what is allowed contractually. We have had over 50% of the requests for information have been erroneous, or have been information on drawings or things that you could get elsewhere. We've had a lot of lack of coordination between subs and the general contractor. And with multiple reviews of proposed change orders, like we just talked about, not getting the information properly to review and approve them on time. CCDs, I mean, yes, you can expect to issue CCDs on every project, but there is, there have been more than I would have expected. To show you, our commitment to this project, DBBW ran out of fee in middle of May. And we've been continuing to work on this project. Regardless, we've been continuing to put 3 to 4 days per person for 2 people for the last 2 months. And we expect to continue doing that for another month. We have, between Deb and myself, have put countless hours in. We've danced around the idea of being basically directing the contractor to a point that is beyond our contract. Like it's, we've had to just push them as much as humanly possible. And it's been a real burden to our team and to the firm. So we're looking for basically for mid-May through mid-August, and then our closeout kicks in for the amount of $70,580. As I said, I have backup if anybody wants to see it. This assumes that the contractor is complete on August 22nd. And to the point that we are in closeout. If we are continuing to administer the contract, there could be another one, depending on how long we go. If it's a few weeks, I'm not gonna worry about it. But if it goes into November, December, we're gonna have,
I hope maybe that's what we
I
have.
hope not. So I don't want to sound threatening, but could be a reality.
So just for the benefit of the rest of the committee, our contract with DBBW is no hourly, okay? You're obligated to complete the project.
Correct.
Construction administration.
Correct.
It's not like you run a meter and when the meter's done, you're off the project. What this is what Ashley is pointing out is that there are things in this particular construction project that are causing them to spend more and more time coordinating things that they shouldn't have to coordinate or reviewing things that they shouldn't need to review. It would be my intention to recoup this money from the contractor. However, the contractor is bound by the contract documents that are through our contract with DBBW. Our contract with the contractor is a separate contract. So we would be relying on language that are in the contract documents, which are an exhibit to the general contractor's contract. I expect we should probably confirm that.
Well, when I did my backup email, I had gone through all 3, both our contract, the construction documents, and the contractor's contract, and cited where those references are throughout. Typically you can expect a submittal to come in, have 1 revision, and you're done. We just got 6 submittals today, and we're done in 3 weeks. I don't know how they're gonna get ordered in time, but they just came in today.
And that's on who?
Contractor.
Whose responsibility is the provider?
That's what I'm.
Oh, that's all we do. We have other projects that we've completely neglected. All we do all day long, phone calls, meetings, more phone calls, email, so many emails, you guys wouldn't believe it.
We get copied
30,
now.
40, 50 emails.
We
a day.
get copied on things, and this is part of the job, but we get copied on emails between the contractor and the subcontractor about arguing about things that we don't care.
Right.
The town has a contract with Tower.
Right.
That's it. That's all we care about.
Right.
So.
What's the primary cause of this? Is it the subs? Because, Tower, I think, when we went into the contract, they're noted as a good company.
Right.
So Is there been more problems with the subs?
There was a,
Supplier, is it everything?
there has been, there was an acknowledged issue on one of the two sites that resulted in a change of the superintendent. We had, mentioned that to them, back in August, pretty much, when we were trying to get done last summer. That eventually that super was changed in February on Dunn's. The new super has been great, but they're still stymied by some of the scheduling. We never had a submittal schedule. They never had a proper project schedule to show when they need to get submittals approved and ordered. So now,
Information wasn't passed along, such as all the change orders that had been pre-approved before the new superintendent took over.
Mhm.
So we're constantly walking around the site reminding them, that's wrong. Don't you have the change orders?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Okay, so that's gotta get changed. That's wrong. And so every meeting, we're going back, we're reminding them of all the things that they haven't submitted on yet. And in the next meeting, we do the same thing. The next meeting, we do the same thing.
I have a side question. We're fortunate that we're working with multiple architects, contractors, so we get to see kind of how it works in both worlds. At the end of the process, does the owner get the opportunity to evaluate or give feedback as other people go through the RIDE process? They can see some ratings. How does that work?
no. Massachusetts has something called DCAM. Rhode Island doesn't have an equivalent. They have something called DCAM, but it's different. There's no real review process, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I know,
We have,
really.
Yelp for school.
Yeah,
There's, I mean, if projects are listed as references, that's usually the opportunity. I doubt that would happen on this particular project, but
if you're doing future projects, or we have clients in other districts, we do a pre-approval process that can vet some of this stuff out, where the clients have an opportunity to talk to other clients, like, they would come talk to you guys, about the experience and things like that,
I
so.
mean, this hasn't snuck up on us. We've been, well, money snuck up on us, but problem of their schedule, we thought that they would actually be in worse shape than they are right now. So that's a good thing. It looks like, except for a couple of items like the fire pump, that they are gonna be basically completed and school will be able to be
Yeah.
fine. But we did know about the mismanagement and we brought it to, the ownership team's attention, and that's why we've been having meetings directly with them. Mark, Dr. Garso, Justin, and Sean Lacey, we've all been in those meetings. And we're told everything's fine, we're given the completion schedule, everything's great. We're gonna have all our submittals done by April 15th. Everything's turning a corner, we're gonna have everything in place, and then it just doesn't happen.
But then on April 16th, are we back at the table? Like, excuse me, we got something that said April 15th and now it's not here. And then what? The owner of the owner of tower is sorry?
Of course,
there's usually a story that's involved or reason that's involved.
Yeah.
So the thing that concerns me is that I don't know how likely it will be to recoup this amount of money from town. Because, I mean, in fairness, like, if we're going this route, we should have them at the building committee, and they're going to probably tell a totally different story, I'll guess. And we'll have to evaluate. That's the issue. And then there's the legal issue about how much we're going to be able to actually withhold from them.
Right.
And what risk that is to the project. I have no doubt that actually is this amount of money represents the level of effort, okay? It's usually not often that designers break even during construction administration on a project,
No,
or anybody does.
yeah, if it was a small amount, we wouldn't be here talking about it. It's not only affected the bottom line, but it's also affected staffing and everything. It's really disrupted our company, but,
So why don't we get tower here?
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, we contracted for a job
Mhm.
for a fee. And now, because of what's described as mismanagement on the part of the general contractor, we need to pony up another 70 grand.
Right.
I mean, I join Justin in that. I have no doubt that the time and energy and effort has been put in by DBW, but I don't see how this is our issue. Except for the fact, of course, that we've got a school to open in a month. Again,
Yeah, if you bring this to the contractor now, who knows what the repercussions are gonna be. It needs to be discussed with them in September, once we're in school safely.
But we've already paid the money at that point.
Well,
I assume we're keeping retainage.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
there is-
Right now, as of the end of June, there's $6.8 million left to bill out, including retainage. They've never billed more than about 1.1. And so we don't know how much they're gonna bill in July or August, but it's not gonna be anywhere close to that. So we should be all right. What my concern is that I would like to say that the building's safe for occupancy in 4 weeks, but not sign substantial completion, because I don't want to release $3 million or $4 million of work that's not done. So we'll monetize the punch list as best we can to reflect the accurate costs. In fairness, I mean, they are doing work, but I don't think they can move at that rate.
yeah, I mean, how much of that is just being behind on their billing versus I have to assume that $6 million is not representative of the amount of work that's remaining to be done in 6 weeks.
Yes,
Don't believe it. I'll take your word for it.
I'm just going by where their billing is right now.
And what I'm telling you is probably they're not billing, they're not up to date in their billing.
It's very possible. We know they're not up to date on their payroll. They have not been paid for June yet because their payroll slips have not come in yet.
It's only to our benefit if they're not up to date on their billing, to be honest. So I think what you're looking for is some recognition or authorization from the building committee on this. What was the amount again?
It was 70,580. 70580. And I did have in my letter that we are contractually bound to 2023 billing rates. So you are seeing rates from 2 years ago. So
There it is. It's 580,
580.
right? All right, what's the pleasure of the building committee? I'll be honest with you, this is kind of no man's land, for me. We're back charging a contractor for our design professionals additional time. So I can't tell you how that conversation's gonna go. You
so our only avenues of that is retention, right?
Yep.
Again, we're over a barrel.
Believe me, I wish I wasn't. You
No,
weren't in
I'm
that
just-
position.
No.
Are we gonna end up with the same kind of thing from Downs? If Downs is putting any more? Oh, we did.
Did we already approve one contract?
That was both for our additional time back in February.
Due to my proximity to the project, I can put my own personal hours into the project, which I will do. Ashley's in Worcester, Massachusetts, so.
Yeah, that shouldn't factor into
Well,
it.
he's now committed to being on site every week in addition to.
No, we're gonna see this project through. We just would like to realize, see the fact of the effort and know that the contractor is responsible for. So,
Well, to your point, Justin, there is a risk that we don't regain or get any of that back. There is
Correct.
always that risk, so, but for the sake of the moving forward with the project with good management and whatnot, I think it, at some level of funding, that's appropriate.
and we won't be in a stronger position once everything's done.
Well, kind of, but kind of not, what they're saying. To recoup it, you may not be.
But again, still stronger than we would be if we push the issue now. Because they could just stop work.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, it all blends together.
Well, I mean, because this is going to, right? What, just, I'm not even saying this at all, but if we said no to this, what would happen?
We will be putting our.
No, I just, like, literally, I'm not saying,
I
Playing
think,
devil's advocate.
I am saying.
well,
that.
you know, this whole project has come at some pretty, strong, mental and physical challenges. I have been called so many names on this project, I don't even want to get into it, in writing, by different people on this project, and I'm still standing here.
Me neither.
I'd be surprised, yes.
Including the personal attacks. I mean, trying to get you fired.
Yes, they at one point contacted my
Betrayed.
two levels above me, not even the principal in charge of this project. They called who they think is their best ally at my firm. I mean, it was baseless, and it was quickly baseless, but, you know, we're holding their feet to the fire. It's our documents. We have to sign off at the end of the day that it was built in accordance with our documents and protect you, that you're getting what you paid for. And that's what we've been doing, and we'll continue to do that, even if you don't do that. But, you know, this is our only avenue. We don't have a contract with Tower.
Right.
So,
So it's a mixture of, just to simplify what you're saying, it's a mixture of poor management through February. And that really took a toll on it, done stuff, way beyond.
Yeah.
And there were, it got insane, the lack of management out there. I mean, the superintendent wasn't even leaving his trailer. And things were going sideways every which way, and we were on top of trying to keep it going straight. Once we had the new superintendent come in, he has definitely has a different attitude. He is all for getting the project done correctly. He's very skilled, very
Yeah.
experienced. So that problem has been solved, but too late.
it was too late.
Yeah,
We brought this
too late.
attention
Too
in
late to have
September.
an impact right
Yeah,
now. So but I don't think it's a huge impact. I think we're gonna get over that. But the other problem is, and I don't know if it's internal tower problem, but they have a couple of subcontractors, especially the electrician, who they just have a rub with, and they seem to have no control over them. And they can't, I mean, they said before, like, you know, they'll bill for 90% completion. And when they were only at 35, right? So we have to knock down their rec every single month. They overbill by sometimes almost $1 million.
the last record was $400,000.
Yeah, so we have to knock it down, and we'll get a call from the owner of Tower saying, if you do this, if you push for this, they're gonna walk off the job. Well, we
How
can't
is
allow
it
them to
legal
be,
for them to do?
we can't allow them to be overpaid, because especially if they are gonna walk off the job, we have to hire somebody else.
Are they
Listen to
bonded?
what you're saying.
A lot of them are bonded,
Yeah.
but they are holding the bonds.
Yeah.
So
So,
we only have Towers.
of course, we hold the line, and that's why we have a very good idea exactly where everything is, because if we go out and we confirm all the work on site, but the subcontractors are definitely running this project, unfortunately. And Tower is proven to be very weak with controlling them. So that is a big problem with these CCDs. So that combination together has made Ashley's job a nightmare, honestly.
And I looked into the change proposals, because I've been very open and honest with you when we miss something. It's called an error omission. Typically for a renovation is anywhere from 3 to 5%. We're at 1.15%. We've been well within the standard of care. If I was near that, I would be coming to you, because obviously we had errors, but what we have had errors in is well within norms. You know, I remember hearing a colleague of mine about 20 years ago say that building a school is like doing heart surgery on a marathon runner while they're running the marathon. There's gonna be mistakes no matter what.
Hopefully we all survive that.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing heart surgery on 20.
I was just gonna say. I like teaching.
As I said, I have the backup. I would be more than happy to share that with anybody.
Well, it's going to be part of a claim against the contractor. In the meantime, I think we should probably consult counsel, in town to understand what our avenue is.
Okay.
Okay, so what's our comfort level here?
I'll move $50,000 of the request at this point in time, pending what council tells us. If they're positive, I would certainly support the rest of it.
Second.
Discussion,
There's a motion.
because
Oh.
this would be motion's been made and there's a second. Obviously,
Discussion now, yeah.
yeah, so we're in discussion, which I think needs to involve you, Ashley, because I think there's the sentiment on the building committee that we first need to get some comfort level about our ability to recoup this. And I think this gets you 2/3 of the way there to that.
Yeah.
And, pending that discussion, I think the building committee will move forward the remainder amount. That's okay with you.
I'm okay with that at this point. As I said, we've been operating 2 months with no fee, so.
Forget what the invoice, we billed them out 100% in CA right now.
Except for the
Except for closeout.
closeout, and then my, as you said, billing is behind. Some of my consultants are behind. We haven't billed out that, anything that's left.
But the CA for construction, yes, is billed up.
Yeah.
Weren't we always completing in August of this year?
We originally, when we put out the bid, it was December, and then we pushed it to August. That was
Which we entertained.
correct,
We
and
approved,
that's
that's
separate. That's all taken care of. Yeah. No, I had originally estimated, and I put right in the letter, I think it was 2 days. 16 hours a week of my time and 8 hours of Pedro's time. And we've been burning burn rate at over 3 times that. It's been me 4 days and him 3 to 4 days this entire time.
Okay, we're in the middle of the motion.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, motion carries.
Okay, I appreciate it. I don't like putting my clients in this position, but. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Deb?
I see it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Next item is capital projects update. Tell us something.
Springbrook mini splits are installed except for the admin. They're gonna be moving on to the middle school next, keeping an eye on Dunn's Corner. We're gonna hop in that PDA chase. So once that's available, we'll hop in that as well. Over here in Babcock, the kitchen floor has been demoed and we are on track to, for next week, have a brand new floor down there. That's all I've got.
How about anything on the horizon? Are you head down, get through the summer and then really start? Okay, all right.
I actually have something related to that. We're gonna be starting up the middle school in September, probably. We're gonna start the middle school roof again.
Correct. We want to get in front of the line on that going forward for next summer's project to do phases 1 and 2. We're a little behind on that right now, so we're trying to get that put out to bid in the fall. We'll get something awarded shortly thereafter, get in line in the spring, get a letter of intent going, so they have everything ordered, get the ground running on July 1st.
Well, actually, we have, we didn't do the money this year, so then, we'll have to figure. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything Anything else, Mark?
No.
Back to Dunn's really quick. I do have confirmation from Tarcat. They're gonna start the replacement, resurfacing of the gym floor at Dunn's on August 14th, yes.
Do we need to in this, or just make the invoice?
Cindy, we're gonna be renting humidifiers for that gymnasium. Do we need approval by the subcommittee or do I just send you the invoice? This,
Was that the email you sent me? Just because it's not through one of the contracts, I think it can still come in front of the subcommittee.
okay, so it does need to be approved. The actual payment of the invoice or ordering them?
I would say both.
Okay.
We should do that. Because it will be charged to the bond.
I have a proposal to order for a month dehumidifiers for the Dunn's Corners Gymnasium for a total of $2,754.
And I'll tell you, the idea is that we're going to take it out of the retainer that we're holding for John Boyle, because we believe that this is why the gym floor failed. They should have either provided their own dehumidification, as you said, was in there, or at least told us they couldn't finish the floor because it was too humid in the gymnasium. It didn't cure correctly, and this is why it's like this.
The idea is to get it now, have it up and running before they get mobilized on the 11th of August. So it will already be in a perfect climate that they need, so that they don't turn around and walk away.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Doing the same project right now. But also, I'll be on board with you.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is next steps. Now, at the last meeting, we talked about identifying some dates for our ribbon cutting at Dunn's and Springbrook to kind of align with, open houses.
Well, do you have an ice cream social plan? We have the date out there for April 28th. August 28th. But I don't know if it's approved yet. Approved by whom? I don't know. Facility use, we did a facility use form. Oh, yeah, but yeah. No, that'd be, it's your building.
You may be-
Well, I just don't know if the middle school, because we're doing it at the middle school, whether that's used for something else.
You're doing it at the middle school.
Oh, and then you can't do it.
Right.
Okay. When's your open house? Wait a minute. You know what? I don't know our open house section. Do you have that? I wanna say it's early October.
Usually done like the second week of October typically.
Don't know that fall effect.
Show Laura's got it on the calendar. So if we do it, then that makes sense.
Yeah, October 9th, check your calendar, she may.
I think I already gave us, spring groups.
Yeah, theirs was like September 18th or something.
Not on the calendar, but I'll text it. And principals are doing letters for the sun now, right? Because supplemental. So anything that folks need to know about the status of the projects or what to expect, it should just be included in those letters.
Yeah, I would focus on the positives.
Yeah.
Pavement's going down next week, that's positive.
Don't have that.
So, second week of October.
Springbrook is, Thursday, the 25th, from 7 to 7.
Of September.
Yes.
Okay, so that gives a bit of time for any punch list work that needs to be completed.
Said the 25th for Springbrook. And the 9th for Dunn's.
No, she just said we don't have to set yet, so we have to set the date for open house. No, I'll do that tomorrow. You might want to do it, you know, in that same week, maybe the Tuesday of that week or something, because as Justin said, you have to punch list stuff. If you're looking at that.
Okay.
then we have time to figure out something fun and, exciting. Have some kids, we'll have kids there anyway. Right. Sounds good.
Okay, great. Anything else that anybody wants to see as far as next steps?
I just have a question, and I know I missed a couple, but the last time we were here, Justin, you were on the phone. Did we ever get remember we were talking about the air conditioning at state? And it was, we did have it or we didn't have it.
We do have it.
It's definitely
Yeah.
air conditioning.
Yeah, they're in the design
Great.
process. They
Remember?
figured out, well, they figured out it really wasn't gonna be a cost savings considering the VR system, so they just went with air conditioning.
I was standing next to the engineer that worked on it.
Yeah.
We were about ready to go into an interview.
At the time they were calling you?
Yeah. The time that-
But yeah, I know you were on the phone, I remember. Texting, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So it was really quick. I saw it and I turned to Brad and I asked him.
And we're still like, no. It is.
Anything else? Okay. Continue to have no members of the public present. So we'll go on to item number 10, everybody's favorite. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.